Hello guys, welcome to Asutosh Coaching Center. Hello guys, welcome to Asutosh Coaching Center. Today we are going to starting chapter name is biodiversity and conservation. इसका introduction देख लेते हैं. The biodiversity or the biological diversity is the occurrence of different type of ecosystem and the different species of organism and their variant like biotypes and ecotypes and the gene adapted in different climate and the environmental of different region, including their interaction and processes. And this term was copied by the Edward Wilson. The vast array of species of microorganisms, algae, fungi, and plant and animals occurring on the earth, either in the terrestrial or aquatic habitat, and the ecological complexes of which they are part of comprise biodiversity. Diversity ranges of from the macromolecules to biomes. होता क्या है देखो, the important diversity at the level of biological organization, उसमें फर्स्ट हो रखा है genetic diversity. Genetic diversity क्या होता है? A single species might show high diversity at genetics level over its distributional ranges, and Rolfia and the Vometeria shows genetic variation and the terms of the concentration of potency and of chemical recip- res- reserpine. And okay, India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of rice and 1,000 of the mangoes. सेकंड है हमारा स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी. क्या होता है? द डाइवर्सिटी एट स्पीसीज लेवल ऑफ एग्जाम्पल द वेस्टर्न घाट हैव मोर एम्फीबियंस स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी दैन द ईस्टर्न घाट. थर्ड है हमारा इकोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी. द डाइवर्सिटी रैन फॉरेस्ट मैंग्रोव्स एंड द कोरल रीफ्स एंड द वेटलैंड्स एंड द एस्चुरीज एंड द अल्पाइन मीडो आर द टाइप of ecological diversity. Biodiversity and its conservation are vital environmental issue and the international concern as more people around the world and begin to utilize critical importance of biodiversity and for survival the well-beings on this planet. According to IUCN, यानी कि the total number of plant and animal species described it so far is about 1.5 billion. Okay, and but still many species are yet to be discovered, and they're described as more than 70% all the species recorded are the animals. Rest are in plants including algae, fungi, bryophyta, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. Among animals, 70% of total are insects, and the number of fungi in species in the world is more than combined total of the species fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammal. Biodiversity in India. The India is the one of the 12th mega diversity in the country, and India has only 2.4% of the land area of the world. It has 8.1% of the global species diversity, and there are about 45,000 species of plant and about 90,000 to 1 lakh species of the animals. New species are yet discovered and unnamed. Applied the Robert May global estimate, only 22% of the total species have been recorded. India has probably the more than 1 lakh species of the plant and the 3 lakh species of the animals to be discovered and described. Okay. अब हमारा अगला है हमारा पैटर्न ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी. क्या होता है? लैटिट्यूडनल ग्रेडियंट एंड द diversity of plant and animal is not uniform throughout the world and the shown in uneven distribution. The uneven the distribution pattern is along the latitudinal कहते नहीं है latitudinal gradient in diversity. The species diversity decreases as we move away from the equator towards the pole, and the tropic harbor more species than the temperature or polar areas. The Amazonian rainforest has the greatest biodiversity on the earth. It has more than 40,000 species of the plants and the 1,25,000 species of insect and the 300 species of fish and the 427 of amphibians and 378 of reptiles and 1,300 species of the birds and 422 47 is mammals. Okay, ये बात को ध्यान रखना, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है. हाँ. Various hypotheses has been proposed regarding this as first has specification. Specification is a function of unlike temperature region and subjected frequent glaciation is in past and the tropical latitude have remained relatively undistributed and for the millions of years and thus had evolutionary time for the species diversification. Second, have a tropical environment unlike a tropical environment. Unlike temperate ones are less seasonal, more constant and the predictable and which promote Nike specialization and lead to greater species diversity. Third, there is more solar energy available in the tropic which contribute to higher productivity thus in turns and the contribution indirectly to greater diversity. The species and area relationship. Okay, the Alexander von Humboldt has observed that within a region and a species regions and gets increased and when explored area is increased but only up to a limit. The relationship between the species richness and area of a number of taxa like angiospermic plants and the freshwater fishes and bird is found to be a rectangular hyperbola. On logarithmic scale, the relationship is a straight line described by the equation log s and log is equal to log c z log a, and where s is species and a is area and z is slope. Okay, slope कहते नहीं है, slope of the line, and c is equal to y intercept. Ecologists have discovered that the value of Z lies in the range of the 0.1 to 0.2 regardless taxonomic group of the region, and in very large area like continent Z and the value of ranges between the 0.6 to and 1.2. The importance of species diversity of the ecosystem. The community with one or with the more species are genetically more stable, and those within less with less species and a stable communities should not be show and too much variation and the productivity from years to year. Rich biodiversity to is essential for the ecosystem health and the imperative for the very survival of humans and the race of this on this planets. Revit Popper hypothesis given by Paul Eldridge in Aeroplane Ecosystem. All parts are joined together and using thousands of reward species and every passenger traveling in it starts and the popping a rivet to a take home and the causing species to become extinct. It may not affect the fight and the safety proper functioning of the ecosystem initially, but as more and more rivet are removed, the plane and becomes dangerously weak over a period of time. Furthermore, which rivet is removed by may also be critical. Loss of rivet on the wings and the key species and that drive the major ecosystem and the function is the obviously a more series threat to a fight safety than a loss of a few rivet on the seat or a window inside the plane. Loss of biodiversity. The biological wealth of our planets have been declining rapidly due to the three factor population, urbanization and industrialization. The IUCN Red List 2004 document the extinction of 784 species including the vertebrate and 359 invertebrate and 77 is to plants and in the past 5 years some of the example recent extinction include the dodo and the Mauritius, guaga and Africa, Thailand, Australia, कहते हैं Steller, sea cow, Russia, and the three subspecies belly javan, Casian after Casian of tiger in last 20 years 20 species have been disappeared. Okay. उसके बाद क्या कह रहा है, इन जनरल लॉस ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी इन अ रीजन मे लीड टू डिक्लाइन इन प्लांट प्रोडक्शन एंड बी नंबर है हमारा लोअर रेसिस्टेंट टू इन्वायरमेंटल perturbation and drought the food, and C number है increase the variability in ecosystem processes such as productivity, water uses and pest disease cycle. Causes of biodiversity losses. Ester rate of species extinction are largely due to the human activities. The four major causes are called evil coordinate, and first है हमारा habitat loss and the fragmentation. It is the most important cause of the animals and the plant extinction and the Amazon forest our lungs of the planet, and which have million species is being cut clearness of the cultivation of soya beans or for the conservation conversion to the grassland. When a large habitat are broken up into fragment due to various human activities and mammals and birds, and mammals are the birds requiring and the large territories migrate and body affected. Okay. उसके बाद हमारा ओवर एक्सप्लोटेशन, व्हेन अ बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम इज ओवर एक्सप्लॉयड by the man or for the natural resources, the result is degradation and extinction of the resources. Examples: Stiller's cow and the passenger pigeons and many marine fishes या fish population are over the harvested and the endangering the continued existence of some important species. ओके अब हमारा हमारा अगला है, अगला नंबर को कहते हैं एलियन स्पीसीज इन्वेंशन. when alien species enter inventionally at the unintentionally, some of them turn invasive and cause decline or extinction of the indigenous कहते हैं ना indigenous and species. The Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria in East Africa and led eventually to the extinction of an ecologically unique and assemblage of more than 200 species of killed child and fishes in the lake. Invasive weed species like carrot grass, Parthenium lanthana, and water hyacinth causing threat and to indigenous species. Co-extinction, when a species become extinct and the plant and the animals is associated with it, and it also become extinct when a host fish becomes extinct. It is a unique assemblage of parasitic also become extinct. ओके अगला हमारा बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन. क्या तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं. तो बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन क्या होता है देख लेते हैं हम. वी शुड कंजर्व द बायोडाइवर्सिटी ड्यू टू द फॉलोइंग रीजन. पहला है नैरो utilitarian. Okay, human obtain countless and direct economic benefit from the natural like food and the firewood, fibers, construction material and medicinal plant and industrial production. With increasing resources put into a prospecting and the nation endowed with the rich biodiversity can expect to reap an enormous benefit. The broadly utilitarian and the diversity plays a major role in the ecosystem services that nature provides and the production of oxygen during photosynthesis. The pollination without natural and the pollinators preserve and the from natural nature are priceless. Okay, बट कहा जाए तो इथिकल में दिखा दो. देखो थर्ड नंबर है इथिकल है. इथिकल क्या होता है देखो, फॉर कंजर्विंग बायोडाइवर्सिटी related to what we own millions of planets, plants and animals and microbe species with a worm we are share planet and Every species has an intrinsic value, although it may not be current or any economic value to us, but it is our moral duty to care of all well-beings and pass in on our ecological legacy in good order for future generation. Next is our ways to conserve diversity. That's the ways to conserve biodiversity. When a whole world is conserved and all its biodiversity is protected, these are two ways of conservative biodiversity. First, in situ and या on site conservation भी कह सकते हैं इसको. And now conservatives have identified for the maximum protection and certain biodiversity hotspot and the region with very high level of species and richness or high degree of endemism and species found in that region and not found else anywhere else. And there are 34 diversity hotspot in the world, and these hotspot are also region of the accelerated habitat loss, and India has 14 biosphere reserves and the 90 national parks and the 448 वाइल्ड सेंचुरी. नेक्स्ट हमारा एक्स सेतु यानी कि ऑफ साइट कंजर्वेशन में क्या होता है. ओके, इसको भी याद कर लेना ज़्यादा बेटर होगा. नेक्स्ट हमारा एक्स सेतु कंजर्वेशन. इन दिस मेथड द थ्रेटेंड एनिमल्स एंड द प्लांट आर टेकन आउट ऑफ देयर नेचुरा एंड हैबिटेट and natural and habitat place in the specific setting, and they protected and given special zoological park, botanical garden and the wildlife sanctuary and used for the purpose. And now gamete threatened and species can be prevented viable and the fertile condition for the long period and for the using cryopreservation technique, and the eggs can be fertile in vitro fertilization and plants can be propagate using tissue culture method. These are the method. Okay, लास्ट टाइम हमारा क्या है, वेज टू कंजर्व बायोडाइवर्सिटी. देखते हैं हम ध्यान से. देखो पहला क्या होता है इन सेतु में. देखो क्या कह रहा है. देखो इन सेतु में क्या कह रहा है. दिस मेथड इन्वॉल्व द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ इंडेंजर्ड स्पेसीज इन देयर हैबिटाट. मतलब कि इसमें क्या होता है कि इन सेतु में मतलब किसी भी जो कोई जीव होता है उसको मतलब कि उसको इनहेबिटेट के अकॉर्डिंग उसको मतलब कि इन प्रोटेक्शन दिया जाता है. ओके, हाँ. इट हेल्प इन रिकवरिंग द पॉल्यूशन इन द सराउंडिंग वेयर दे डेवलप्ड देयर डिस्टिंक्शन फीचर. एग्जाम्पल देखो, नेशनल पार्क, बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व एंड द वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी etc. एक्स से तुम क्या कर रहा है. इट इवॉल्व्स द प्लेसिंग ऑफ थ्रेटेंड एनिमल्स एंड द प्लांट्स आर in species are the unit for the protection. It help in the recovering population or preventing the extinction of under stimulated and the condition that closely resembled their natural habitat. Example botanical garden and zoological garden. So guys, ये lecture यहीं पे ख़त्म होता है. So thanks for watching video till the end. You are a part of journey of NEET. So guys, जितना like, subscribe and share हो सके do that. Okay, bye, see you next video.